The following is a Joel Michalec production. On November 13th, Felix Unger was asked to remove himself from his place of residence. That request came from his wife. She asked him to leave because he wouldn't listen to the Joel Michalec Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the show. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
It is 2020, and this is the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharen.
Hi.
Who is right there across the table from me. So, yes, 2020.
You know, it amazes me that 2020 is actually here when way back in the past, like way, I used to think, wow, when the year 2000 comes, it's just going to be so high tech. And
right.
We're going to be driving in the skies.
Well, that's what upsets me is it's now 2020. I haven't seen any Jetsons cars.
I know.
You have food replicators. I mean, where's all this tech that they told us about?
Right. And my thing is, if they can do it in the movies, why can't they do it in real life?
Because you can do anything in the movies.
Right, but I mean, like, you can have food replicators
Yeah.
in the movies, but in real life we don't. I don't have one.
Let's think about that for a second. A coffee machine is a food replicator, don't you think?
Well, yeah, but I got to do stuff to get it to make coffee. I just want to hit a button, and my pork roast dinner is all there, nice and hot and bubbly.
If you think of all the advances they made with the assistants, you know, Amazon and Google, we're creeping up on it. But anyway, yes. So it is 2020. Which, by the way, if you think about it, here's something. We are now as far away from 2050 as we are from 1990.
Wow.
Yeah. So think about that. 1990 was exactly as far ago as it will take us to get to 2050.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Interesting. But
wow, that just blows my mind. It really does.
So welcome back, everybody, to I guess the next season, if you will. I don't know. We take 2 weeks off for the holiday. You can call that a seasonal interlude, but it is a new year, and this marks the third year back on the air.
Yes.
The start of the third year.
Yes.
So you can get us at jmtalk.net. That is still the website where everything's happening. And over the next couple of days and weeks, you'll see some changes as we're making some changes to the website. But you can still get us on social media as well. Facebook at jmtalk, Instagram and Twitter at jmtalkradio. So there are the various places you can get us. Email us at joelmichalecradio@gmail.com. So there's the business end of things out of the way. And
I'm happy it's a new year because, as everyone says, the beginning of a new year means it's a new start. So anything that happened to you last year, it's you've got a new start. So therefore, a new beginning. The
whole new year, new me thing.
Yeah.
I dislike that so much.
Do you?
Yeah. I mean, I think because everyone sets some sort of standard that, it's a new year, I'm going to do this or I'm going to do that.
No, I don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, we don't do resolutions.
Right,
but
we don't.
But that's sort of what I view the new year, new me thing is. For me, I would be like, hey, it's a new year, be a new you. Why don't you try using your damn blinkers once in a while when you're driving?
Oh, my God,
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Don't sit there and say you're going to lose all this weight and then you don't, or you're going to stop smoking and you don't, or you're going to stop drinking and you don't. Just try to be a better person. Use your turns and turn your lights on when it's raining. I mean, do some things that help everybody.
Yeah.
Because, it...
Exactly.
A stat came out and said that fatalities, roadway fatalities in Delaware, for example, went up 20% in 2019 over 2018. 20%. That is a staggering statistic.
Astounding.
That is a terribly astounding
Yes.
statistic. 20% more people
That's
year over year
insane.
died in auto-related accidents, most of which I'm sure were caused by texting.
Absolutely. Oh
me.
my God. I saw this lady. I was driving down the road, a county road, and this person was coming towards me. And she kind of drifted a little bit and realized and corrected herself. And when she drove by me, she was looking down at her phone
Mm-hmm.
because she was texting.
It is.
It's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous, and I wish that law enforcement would find some way to
But
crack
they
down
do
on
it too.
Well, in Delaware, it's because they're exempt from the law.
But no, that's...
And I'm not saying that's right. I have argued that point time and time again that is not right. That if I have to buy some sort of Bluetooth device for my car to talk hands-free, why would the county and state not budget Bluetooth devices?
Exactly.
My work, a small company here in Delaware, had to put out money to buy these devices for everybody.
Right.
Why are they exempt from having to do that?
Exactly.
Our tax money can pay for a little bit of that action.
I agree.
But yes, you're absolutely right. And over the holidays, making these observations of people. First of all, they can't drive as it is, and then now add the holiday rush and all that to it.
Right,
and,
right.
It has not improved. I can clearly see why that stat makes sense just by going out. I'm afraid to drive.
And, when you and I first met, your driving was atrocious.
No, it wasn't.
Okay, let me just finish, okay?
Why do we always have to have this discussion?
Listen, let me just finish.
I'm listening.
I'm about to give you a compliment.
Oh, okay.
Okay? It's called, tear down with the, the bad thing and then build you back up to make you feel better.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm laying on the floor right now, so...
Okay, so here, let me pick you up. But no, in the beginning, when I first met him, his driving was atrocious. It really was.
I don't know about atrocious.
I was afraid to drive with him. Okay?
Wow. I'm still waiting to get pulled up off the floor here.
In the past 20 some odd years, his driving has gotten much better. He doesn't get pulled over at 2 o'clock in the morning for
being tired.
To check to see if he's drunk driving.
Because I was tired.
But he was tired because at 2 o'clock in the morning we were just getting done work. But that was the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Wow.
Knowing that he never took a drink, but he had to do a sobriety test.
So, meanwhile, now wait a minute, my microphone is drifting down. Oh my goodness! I see if I can repair this. Hold on a second. Sorry for the noise and the extra sound effects.
Wow.
But
okay, but putting all that aside, your driving has gotten so much better. I do feel comfortable driving with you.
So much better that I do the bulk of the driving.
Just because I don't like driving.
Well, I don't like driving. When I say I'm afraid to drive, it's not that I have a phobia and I need medication to get on the road, because I'm so depressed about it. But it just, I am more aware than I ever have been because you have to look out for the other person and hopefully you have the area to react. Like you and I are always getting into, not arguments, but like I have
Tips.
Right, because you're like, why are you so far from the car in front of you?
He's a mile and a half away from the car.
But if the car in front of me does something stupid, I need time to react for the safety of the precious cargo I'm carrying in my vehicle.
A mile and a half, guys.
I'm just saying. You have to have time to react. That's defensive driving 101.
No, you absolutely do. Need to have time to react, okay? You do take it to the extreme, and that's you. That's what you do. I just have to learn to shut my mouth when you do it.
Bingo.
I get that.
Bingo.
I get that.
Ding, 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 ding. What does she get, Harv?
Shut up. Shut up, for real. But no, and my driving, see, these days you have to be aware of what everyone else is doing, not just what you're doing. And that's not the way it should be. Not everybody drives that way.
They say that every man looks for somebody who's like their mother. And you have a lead foot just like my mother. So it worked.
I can't help it.
I found her.
My pedal is actually adjustable. Did you know that?
I don't know what that means.
It's adjustable. You can move it up or down.
You just move it straight down.
No, I mean, it's got a button on it on the car.
For shorter people?
Yeah, so you can adjust it.
I did not even know that.
Yeah,
We've had that car for 2 years, and I did not even know that.
I know. My car is so futuristic.
Yes.
It really is. It does everything.
So.
Okay, getting back to the road.
Right. So,
Instead of my car.
I would say, I would like to think that we could advise people that start the new year off right and make some sort of minute change, and that helps everybody. And so, like, if everybody focused in on their own driving and said, what can I do to make it better? And, of course, if you're a young person who doesn't understand the rules of the road, you can stop using your phone, And I still want to try to find a way to be a voice to convince the cellular companies to make it mandatory that the phone becomes unusable in a moving vehicle.
But they have an option on your phone.
That's the word, though.
That's
option.
The thing. Nobody takes it. You have it.
I have it.
I don't, but you do.
Plus, thanks to you, I have Bluetooth in the car in my truck now, so I have the Bluetooth calling.
Yep.
So. Yeah, it's just, you want to arrive alive, just, wait till you get somewhere. Really, I mean, what is so important that people have to use their phone, text, talk, and whatever else they're doing. I mean, for all I know, they could be watching football games while they're driving. I don't like cars that have DVDs in the dash. I think that's ridiculous. These are all things that lend themselves to distracted driving, which is the problem with society. If we could somehow fix or begin to work on fixing distracted driving, I think we have a much better chance of dropping some of these statistics.
Absolutely. Yes. I agree.
I don't know. That would be what I would think, but
I mean, how would you do that for the phone company, the people who manufacture the OS systems and the phones, like iPhone or Android? How would they be able to make it so once they feel like movement, but you're not physically walking? I don't know how that works.
It would probably be with whatever algorithm works on the optional thing. Somehow it knows when I'm in the car and I'm driving. So and I'm sure there's a way that they can do it, considering the fact that because I have the iPhone 6 Plus, I'm not allowed to have a good working phone now. So
stop it! I keep telling you to update your phone.
They have a way to disseminate and disintegrate and
oh my goodness,
disjuncticate my phone system.
Look, you have that phone because apparently you want that phone.
It doesn't cost me any more money to have it. For me to upgrade, it costs me money.
Well, yes, but all right, I'm not going to have this argument on the radio. I'm just saying.
So new year, new you. It was a quiet new year here.
Oh, I loved it. It was so nice.
We started binging Lost in Space season 2.
I know. I love it.
That's our show. We started binging that. I started
Lost in Space on Netflix.
I started going back and binging Dexter.
Yeah.
From season 1.
Yep.
I need to binge two seasons behind on.
Did you forget what it was?
Stranger Things. Yes, I did. I did forget what it was. But,
just talk to your granddaughter. I'm sure she's up on every single episode.
I know she's up on every single episode, which is,
wow. That child.
It's time though. We know that it's just the time to be able to do it, and I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad of the time that we've had to start watching Lost in Space.
Oh yeah.
What an amazing show! What an amazing job they've done with that reboot.
I know. Yeah.
So it was a quiet New Year's. It was a pretty busy holiday season.
Yep.
I did see the new Star Wars. And. I don't know. I mean, it wasn't terrible. I didn't think there was anything fantastic about it.
I wasn't entirely into the Star Wars series.
Which is interesting because you're into Star Trek.
I was a Trekkie.
Yeah,
Absolutely, I was a Trekkie. But the Star Wars, I don't know. It just never really...
To not have any kind of whatever about it is odd, being that you were into Star Trek.
Yeah.
I mean, usually you're really into one. Like, for instance, I'm really big into Trek, and I'm just sort of into Star Wars.
Right.
Right. I'm a bigger.
But no,
I'm a bigger fan of the first three, which became the second three, which I don't want to talk about that. But
I know, right? That's crazy how they did that. Which is one of the reasons I think I don't like it. Because they did it all backwards.
Well, I also watched The Mandalorian, which you had no interest in seeing.
No.
Which has nothing to do with the storylines of Star Wars. It's sort of out on its own.
Right.
And it's pretty good. I actually binged the whole first season with our daughter, in 2 days. So that's done. Now we have to wait, practically 3/4 of a year before the next season comes out.
Yep.
Which isn't as long as we had to wait for Lost in Space Season 2. That seemed to take forever. So what are you guys binge watching? I mean, let us know what you guys are binge watching. Hopefully you're making some good decisions, some wise decisions for your new year, new you, if you're doing that.
Right.
I'm not. I'd like to say that I'm going to eat healthier. I have to. I'd like to say I will. We did last night. We started with a beautiful Tuscan garlic chicken dinner that we found.
Oh, my God.
And
that was amazing.
And also, I have some possible alterations that I heard were really good.
Oh, really?
To the recipe, yeah.
Wow.
So that was really good. So, let us know on Facebook if you want. What are you doing? What's the new year, new you? When we come back from the break, I guess we want to talk a little bit about Australia if you don't know what's going on down there. We have a big announcement to make for the new year, so we'll tell you about that. And then, of course, coming up later on is in the third leg is Wombat of the Week and Honor Thy Heroes, and we'll get to all that after we come back from this quick break.
This is New York's Super Oldie Station, 920 WON, The Apple, Brooklyn, New York.
So I use my computer every day. I'm not even sure how I get along without it. But I wasn't prepared for a virus. A Trojan, they called it. One night I'm cruising along, and the next night I can't do anything. I was afraid it was going to cost me a fortune. Boy, was I surprised. They had me back up and running the same day I called them. I really like PC Tech Rescue, and you know what? My wallet likes them too.
Are you troubled by computer problems? PC Tech Rescue should be your very next call. Whether the problem is viruses, hardware, software, or any other issue, they can diagnose your problem and have you back up and running fast. With more than 25 years of industry experience, you can be sure you are getting dependable and affordable service. Call today, 484-429-6061, or email us at pctechrescue@gmail.com.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the Joel Michalec Show featuring the Lovely Sharen. Happy 2020. It's the first show back of the new year.
Happy 2020.
2020 sounds so weird.
I know, right? Sounds so futuristic.
Right. Where's Barbara Walters now? Hello, I'm Barbara Walters, and this is 2020. Remember that?
I know, right? Your voice is a little deeper than hers was.
Yeah,
but
right. Well, I don't do impressions anymore. We have a big major announcement to make that we're going to make right now.
Okay.
Okay? Is that all right?
So, yeah, let's make it.
During the holiday season, this year and last year, the Christmas show was broadcast on an affiliate network, SRN1, in Ontario, Canada. And during the holiday season, we got an extra gift in that they are regularly scheduling now our podcast for airplay on SRN1.
That
effective
is
January
news.
1st.
Right?
So, it's weird because I don't have the definite details as far as times. I did put an email out to them to find out. They were working that out in the rotation schedule. And then we'll get that obviously out there and added. And it's another affiliate now where you can hear the show during the course of the week.
Absolutely.
At SRN1. And the website, I'll tell it to you, and of course they'll be posted all over social media and the website, but it's 148.ca/1 ONE. So 148.ca/ONE. That is it's a very simple address too. That's the address.
It is very simple.
To your SRN networks, and that's where you can listen to the show as another affiliate. And I'm working on more affiliates too. I'm working on getting the show out there even more. So stay tuned for more.
You're just working so very hard.
I'm trying.
I know, and you're
trying.
doing a fabulous job.
So that's our big announcement. We are adding yet another affiliate to air in the podcast and syndication.
I'm super excited about that.
We are super excited about that.
Yeah.
So thanks to Mike and Phil up there at SRN1
Thank you.
for putting a quality show on the network.
Right. And what you're listening to is a quality show.
Exactly. Exactly. So the other thing we want to talk about, it's weird, because it's been a short week. I mean, it was not the New Year until Wednesday of this week.
Right.
So definitely a short week. And all the big news, you have 2020. We're here at 2020. So the New Year is always big news in the first part of the week. Of course, you have some political stuff going on with the U.S. airstrikes, which is you got to tune into a different show for that.
Yeah.
And then this has been going on for several months, but suddenly the wildfires in Australia have taken
a whole new turn.
Front of the line news.
Yeah.
And it's partially because I think what started out as wildfires in remote regions. Now, if you know Australia, their landscape and their geography, the cities are kind of all along the coast.
Yeah.
And then inside the country is backcountry. It's nothing very remote. Not many people live in those remote areas. But the wildfires have gotten themselves to a point where they're starting to put a real problem on the cities.
Right.
And I think that is why it is suddenly taken to being like, because I mean, if you would have said something in November, Sharon, I wouldn't have known anything. I'd say, let me go look that up.
Right.
And now that it's headline news right now you see all these stories from November are popping up.
I saw a picture. I saw two pictures from the wildfires that really just tugged at my heartstrings. And the one picture was, in the backdrop was this building in massive flames. And in the foreground is a kangaroo trying to hop away.
Yeah.
And the other picture was a volunteer firefighter, carrying a koala and trying to save him.
That could easily be picture of the year.
Yeah,
because that's a big part of the story, and I know you don't want to hear this, but I have to say it because we're here to tell people what's going on. We're here to report.
Yeah.
A lot of wildlife have lost their lives to these wildfires.
I know.
I'm sorry. I know that's a sad statistic, and I know you hate. I hate that. A picture of an abandoned dog makes me cry.
I know. Me too.
However,
a firefighter carrying a koala, and then the kangaroo that has nowhere to go, and it's very saddening to know that all those wildlife. Those animals in the wildlife have lost their lives.
Right.
So and I just want to say the Queen of England did give her condolences to the people who have lost their lives, as well as the people struggling to contain those fires.
And we have friends in Australia too.
We do, yeah.
Obviously we're thinking of them too today.
Yeah.
Well, every day, but the wildfires that are ravaging in parts of Australia, they're burning through vegetation under such extreme conditions that the blazes they are generating they're generating enough heat to create their own weather systems now.
Yeah.
Including fire-generated thunderstorms and fire tornadoes. And in fact, they said that it is getting so bad in Australia that, and with the fact that the heat from these are generating their own weather systems, that they said the skies have turned red over New Zealand.
Wow.
Which is obviously the small island off of Australia.
Well, right.
So, the fires have already burned millions of acres in New South Wales, and that's where some of our friends live, New South Wales, Victoria and South Australia, which is an area twice the size of the state of Maryland, to put it into some sort of perspective for you. Mm-hmm. In New South Wales, the Rural Fire Service said that as of today, there were 150 fires active in the state, 64 of them being uncontrolled fires.
Wow.
So there's a really terrible situation going on there, and I guess, so Australia is an island. A big island, but it's an island.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure, since it's an island, isn't there opportunity, and maybe I don't understand this, and maybe I have to read some more into it, I don't know, but it seems to me that there'll be a lot of opportunity maybe if they can get some additional help as far as air tankers that could just draft water right out of the ocean and start dumping it onto the wildfires.
Yeah, I mean,
it could be my ignorance to not knowing the facts.
That's probably the case, but I would imagine that they only have so much apparatus.
Right, and being that they're so remote,
right?
How do they get more apparatus to them?
Right.
Obviously by air. The easiest thing to do is and I'm trying to scan through without losing my attention to the show, but it makes you wonder, since they are surrounded by water.
Right, and I would assume that that's one of the things that they're doing. And I wonder also how many countries have lent their hand to fighting these wildfires.
Right. Or at least getting them apparatus. Or just putting tankers in the air.
Yeah, exactly.
What other countries can maybe get some, because that's, I think, what they're going to ultimately need. They have water all around them that they can draft.
Right.
Folks, if you're not sure what that means, it's a firefighter term, and excuse me because I used to be a firefighter for 16 years. Drafting just means the act of either drawing water from a water source into a pumper truck when there's not a hydrant around, or an air tanker. It's just a giant plane with a belly that holds nothing but water, and they would go down low enough where a hose would drop out into the ocean or lake or whatever, and then just suck the water into the belly so they can go and just dump the belly over top of an area. So it's called drafting. But so it is terrible. It's terrible what's happening to the people. It's terrible that these fires apparently they started in the backcountry and they're moving towards the cities.
Right.
And that's the problem. Where do the people in the cities go when you're on an island where the fire started from the inside and is working its way towards the outside? And
they
now
can't go inside. So where are they going to go?
It's our winter, so it must be their summer.
Right.
So that makes it even worse.
Right.
Because now they have the excessive heat as it is down there that they get naturally, and now mixing with the fires. And as I said earlier, now they have storm systems being generated by this heat. That is an amazing within itself.
That's an amazing amount of heat.
Yeah.
And
the fact that it builds its own weather system, dangerous weather system. It's like it's almost like how do you even defend against that?
I don't know. But our thoughts and prayers are with the firefighters, the people, and the animals that are affected by this.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it really. It just tears at both of our heartstrings, and hopefully it'll bring some awareness to the plight that they're going through.
And hopefully they get some mutual aid help.
Absolutely.
Whatever can be done, and I this is the kind of thing where other countries need to step up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, all right, well, that was our
tearjerker moment.
Right.
Now we got to bring it back up to a happy new year.
Yes. We have to bring that back up.
Yeah.
How do we do that? Well, typically I dive into my saves.
There you go.
So I do have something here, and let me check the time because I have to make sure that we don't run over on time. We actually have enough time for this little tidbit that I found. You're going to like this, and the unfortunate thing about it is I'm going to have to find the money immediately to get this for you. Because this
is it a Saint Bernard puppy?
No. This falls under the subject of shut up and take my money.
Okay.
So LG, the big popular electronics company, well, they're rolling out a Keurig-like machine. So a machine like a Keurig.
Okay.
Okay. Which takes pods. Okay.
Okay.
But it makes soft serve ice cream.
What?
That's what I said. It's in the category of shut up and take my money.
Right? You got to get it. Is it on its way? Oh my goodness. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Don't you hate it when you're craving some ice cream and you go to your local fast food place to get it and you pull up to order and they say, I'm sorry, the machine is out.
Or, I'm sorry, we haven't washed our machine in 6 years. Do you really want it?
Well, according to a story from Engadget website, LG is rolling out a Keurig-like machine that will make soft-serve ice cream right there in your house.
Wow.
LG introduced its automated machine at the South by Southwest convention, calling it Snow White. As of right now, it's a concept. But it could be a real deal, especially when you have LG working on something like this. LG said you'll be able to make ice cream, gelato, and any other desserts.
Oh, come on.
In 2 to 5 minutes.
Wow.
Best part about the machine is it's going to clean itself.
What? And I don't even have to clean it?
That's what they say.
Why isn't it in my kitchen right now?
Because it's only a concept.
Too bad. I want it.
But I feel kind of good about that. I wonder, can you make frozen yogurt?
Oh.
And then I can eat it all day. I can take it to work.
Oh,
the machine.
My.
Put it on my desk.
No, you can't, because then it wouldn't be here.
And I can just press the button and go.
No.
After I eat
Is that
up,
the noise it makes?
Yeah, press the button again.
Oh, okay.
No, that second noise, that's when it needs to be cleaned. When it starts sounding like, then it needs to be cleaned.
Well, then it'll self-clean itself.
Now my microphone needs to be cleaned.
Oh, that's an awesome story. I want it. I really want it.
Well, you'll have to wait and see if it goes from concept to thing.
No, they need to make it now.
They're working on it now. They are working on it now.
I want it now. Who do I sound like?
Veruca Salt.
Yes. Yay. Ding, 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 ding,
Who
ding.
names a child Veruca, by the way?
I know.
That's with a V.
That's too funny.
Okay, so I'm at a loss here. You gotta come up with something right now.
Right now.
On
okay,
the
so
fly.
do I click here, or do I?
Why are you playing solitaire? You're not even alone. You're here with me.
I'm not playing solitaire. That would imply
what is that?
that my attention is divided.
Yes, it is. What is that? Isn't that solitaire?
No, it's not. Look, it's our buddy. Okay, so what are we going to talk about? Real quick.
So you have a new toy that you got this year.
Oh my gosh! Yes, Santa.
And if you don't make good use of the toy, I'm going to take it away from you.
No, you won't.
Did you hear that when you were a child?
Yeah, right.
Okay, because that's definitely going to happen.
My husband,
moment.
Joel, got me an amazing camera. And it's a camera I've asked for years.
Yep.
And I got it this year. I'm super excited. I'm so excited that I even downloaded it says D35 for Dummies book, one of the Dummies books. So I can fully understand everything that my camera does.
Right. Never take those dummies books for granted because a lot of people go. In fact, I'll relate a quick story. I remember one time when my dad was first getting into computers, and I got him. I think it was like Windows 95 for Dummies or something.
Yeah,
like that.
I remember that.
And he said, "What are you trying to say?" I'm like, "No. That's." I said,
Right?
"That's not it at all.
No.
These books are written in such a way that you don't have to know anything technical.
Right.
You just need to like."
It's written in layman's terms.
Right, and
it really is.
In some points it's comedic and it's funny and it gets to the point without making you feel stupid.
Right. And I started reading the book, and I was like, wow, that's what it does,
Yeah.
And I don't think the Dummies books are for dummies. I really don't. Like other people do. No, I look at it as very informational.
Oh, sure.
And that's what I want. I want somebody to dummy it down for me.
It's a layman's walkthrough.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yes, I got the camera. I was like a kid on
extra
Christmas
zoom lenses.
morning.
I expect some really nice pictures of the beach this year.
Yeah, absolutely. That is definitely going down to the beach. And we took some really great family portraits this Christmas. So a couple of them are being worked up into a surprise.
Ooh, you didn't even tell me about that.
No, I didn't.
Wow. In very regular fashion, you tell me nothing.
Right. So, yeah, I'm very, very excited about that. What did you get?
I got an alarm in my car, and I got a drone, but I may have broken already.
What?
Because I have no idea how to fly it, so I have to work on it and see if I can get it to start up again.
You know, when I bought the drone for you, I said to people around me, I'm shocked that I didn't think of getting that for you sooner.
Well, next time you just get me
one that costs $3,000?
No.
Well, they're better made.
So what? I'll figure this one out.
No, but I did get him a drone because he was saying that he was flying a drone with a friend of his.
No, I was looking at a friend's drone video.
Oh, okay. Well,
his drone.
His
drone does 4K video, and he was showing me some of the work that he's used it for. So, and I told him, I said, you should come down and shoot the bay. You know.
Well, now you can do that.
You seen how I've flown this? I'm not ready to put it above water.
Well, no. But practice makes perfect.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
So yeah.
All right, well, I guess you're leaving me, and I have more business I have to tend to.
Yeah.
Coming back after the break, I have Wombat of the Week, I have Honor Thy Heroes, and if time permits, one last thing.
Absolutely.
So, say goodbye, Sharon.
Goodbye, Sharon.
And Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you and everyone out there listening to this. Peace, love, and chicken grease.
Peace, love, and chicken grease. That's right. All right, Sharon's taking off, and I'll be back right after these messages.
Bye-bye.
This message is for all of you sitting in the passenger seat. And apologies if it gets a little uncomfortable. But how does it feel to be at the mercy of someone who thinks a random text is more important than your life? Someone who takes their eyes off the road while speeding along in a 3-ton hunk of steel. Freaky, right? Well, why not just ask them to stop? Or better yet, volunteer to text for them. It might be a little awkward, but believe me, you'll live.
Learn more at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration.
Broadcasting from a crummy little studio in Baltimore, Maryland. This is Reality One Radio.
You see why we need your donations?
Hello and welcome back to the program, everybody. It's the Joel Michalec Show featuring the lovely Sharen, and this is the third segment, the final stretch, however you want to put it, of the program. where we talk about a couple of things. Wombat of the Week, we honor a new hero, if time permits, and hopefully today, one last thing, which is any small piece of random anything that I or we deem viable enough to share with you that might help you. So anyway, the first segment that we usually do is the Wombat of the Week. Now, if you're a new listener to the show, which is possible because we've shown up in some new places this year, then you may want to know that you can get involved with the Wombat of the Week. And the way you do this is you send us a link of stupid people doing stupid things that winds up in the news. That's what our definition of a wombat is. Stupid people doing stupid things showing up in the news. You can send that link to us at Joel Michalec Radio at gmail.com. You can also just visit us on social media, say Facebook at JM Talk, and send us a message there. We're also on Instagram and Twitter at JM Talk Radio, so you can also send us the links through any message. And excuse me, I'll take a drink of my tea here. Any of those mediums on social media is also an excellent way to send it in. And then what happens is it goes into the fold. You know, if it's not heard immediately, don't be alarmed. We get quite a few requests, and they can get backed up sometimes. But anyway, so that's how it's done. That's how you can participate, should you like to do so. And here is our Wombat of the Week. This comes out of Oklahoma. Of course, it's as they usually are. Wombats of the Week turn out to be stories of criminal activity, one form or shape or form or another. And this one comes out of Oklahoma, a man being arrested after he carjacked a truck from outside an adult store in Missouri. Now, oddly enough, when he carjacked the truck, the truck also had a man and his pet goat inside. Now, let me repeat the setup at least for you. So the carjacking happens in front of an adult store in Missouri, and also in the car when being carjacked is a man and his pet goat. Almost sounds like the opening to a joke, right? So this guy and his pet goat are sitting outside of an adult store, right? So two men stopped at an adult video store in Carthage early Wednesday. This is a couple weeks ago. According to the police, the driver of the pickup truck went inside the store while the passenger and his pet goat remained in the truck, ultimately falling asleep. That's when police say Brandon Kirby, age 40, jumped into the truck and took off, allegedly taking meth as he drove the passenger through parts of Kansas, Missouri, and Oklahoma. Wow. Occasionally pistol whipping the man. So, Mr. Kirby was arrested in Oklahoma on that Wednesday after police say he carjacked the truck. The victim told police Kirby eventually let him and the goat go, dropping them off on the side of the road in Sand Springs, Oklahoma. He then called 911 to report the truck missing to OnStar, and that is how representatives from OnStar were able to slow the car's speed to 15 miles per hour, and then a low-speed chase ensued, police bringing it to an end with stop sticks, which I believe are those like stake reels they throw out in the middle of the road, flatten the tires, so you practically end up at a stop. Police say Kirby then jumped out of the car and ran off, dropping a mask and a gun before a deputy found him hiding in tall grass near Highway 412. So he ended up getting charged with kidnapping, pointing firearms, and felony possession of a firearm. He was also wanted on a burglary charge out of Osage County and has a number of felony convictions, including assault and burglary. So it sounds like he's got a really nice long rap sheet. Maybe the last thing you do is carjack somebody at gunpoint, pistol whipping them, taking meth, going on a joyride, leading police through a chase of 3 states. Sounds like a bad idea. Or, maybe he was just trying to find the fastest way possible to go Christmas shopping. I don't know. But what I do know is what a mistake that is. I can sometimes stop myself and get buried in my thoughts, and I go, how do people even do that? How do people just bring themselves to commit these crimes? It doesn't make sense to me. Maybe it never will. It's just one of those things that when I really think about it, I go, how? How in the world can people do that? Fortunately, and hopefully forever, I don't have those kinds of thoughts, but because of this, and what a doozy of a wombat to start the year out. But this guy Kirby here turns out to be our wombat of the week. So wear your crown well for the next 7 days. So again, if you want to submit your wombat of the week story, stupid people doing stupid things, hitting the news, send the news link to us at joelmichalecradio@gmail.com or somehow on one of our social media outlets. So there you have it. Now, moving on to our other segment, a more popular segment. Actually, they're both kind of equal, but we like to honor heroes. Now, the heroes don't always wear a cape. They don't always wear a badge. They don't always wear fire turnout gear. Okay, that's the thing. So we have this segment where we want to honor any and all that we can, everyday heroes. And so in the same fashion that you can send in stupid people doing stupid things, you can also send us to the same email address or the same social outlets. We'd like to know who the everyday heroes are out there. So if you have somebody who, from your neighborhood or maybe someone from your local newspaper, and you can send that story to us. We would like to honor these people that just go out of their way to go that extra mile for their fellow man or woman. That is, an everyday hero. So before I get to the everyday hero of the week, I like as a special mention, I think, and Sharon mentioned it earlier in the program, a special mention would go out to the people and the firefighters who are trying to save as much wildlife as they can in Australia with those wildfires. She displayed some pictures during the break. I saw a couple more pictures of people trying to get wildlife out of harm's way. There was a really good picture of a guy carrying an orangutan around his shoulders, an orangutan racing from the flames. And so, there's a lot of people, firefighters and people who aren't firefighters, that are trying to do their best in doing that. And so they get special mention this week, along with all the firefighters that are fighting that horrendous blaze. But for the actual wombat of the week for this week, actually, if I can find it, I had it up here somewhere. Okay, here we go. So this week, the everyday hero, and this is a little dated. It's several weeks old, but that's okay. Again, sometimes we get these stories in and they don't get on the board right away. And this is about a motorcyclist. It's actually a YouTuber named Citrus Elmo, and that's probably not his real name, but he is he's a moto vlogger. Now, you know what a blog and a blogger is. A blog is sort of like your own editorial, and a blogger is a person who writes one. And then they came out with these vlogs, VLOG, and vloggers, and that's somebody that does that, but they do it verbally on a video. And so, what is a moto vlogger? Well, a moto vlogger is somebody who vlogs while they're in transit. And this guy, Citrus Elmo, does moto vlogs on his motorcycle. So he had just gotten started this particular day. And if I'm not mistaken, this actually happened in late October. He had barely gotten his camera turned on and get into his routine of motovlogging when he spotted thick black smoke ahead of him in his neighborhood. So in his community, there was black, thick smoke up ahead. So obviously it was coming from one of his neighbors. So traffic stopped around him. He cut through because he was on a bike, and he found that one of his neighbors, their backyard was completely engulfed in flames. A structure in the backyard. It looks to be either the start of a treehouse or maybe just a raised platform for people to hang out on, or children. And that was engulfed in flames, and it threatened the main house because as it was burning the grass heading towards the house. So he told passerbys to call 911, and then he grabs a garden hose And even though he admits on the vlog that he doesn't think it's going to do any help, he does, and he realizes that it is putting out the flames on the wooden fence on the outside attached to the neighbor's yard. So he then makes his way inside the yard, and he sees the resident is in there with a garden hose. So he takes the neighbor's garden hose and tells this guy, "You shoot here, I'll shoot here." Someone's calling 911. The fire department's on the way, and they're actually doing a halfway decent job with a couple of garden hoses. We'll share the video, obviously, on our social media this weekend. But then even after the fire department arrived, and then I hate to say this, but the fire department seemed to be a little bit unorganized. And of course, the one guy who took an attack line into the yard kept getting it kinked up on a fence. So here, Mr. Omo continues to work as a firefighter, assisting the firefighter who was getting kinked up. He gets it off the fence so it'll be on the ground and not get kinked up. And he goes in and he's helping the firefighter continue on with whatever he can do. Folks, this is an everyday hero. Yes, I mean, I think about it, like sometimes I have a slightly skewed or negative view of people who just vlog. It's like I don't know what it is, but I have a different appreciation for them because you know what? Maybe I don't give them the benefit of the doubt that they're everyday people, which they are, obviously. But sometimes I think you're on YouTube all day. And that's great. I wish I could be on YouTube all day doing nothing. Because of how much I work. So that's my first thought. And maybe not now, because this guy went way outside the boundary of his routine. And until the fire department arrives, and during and while the fire department was there, he changed up to a firefighter to do whatever he felt he could. To stop this fire from becoming more dangerous than it already was. And that's what you call an everyday hero. And that's why Citrus Elmo, the YouTuber, is our hero this week on Honor Thy Heroes. And we thank him for doing that and going above and beyond, helping not only his neighbors, but then helping the fire service when they got there, even after that. It's not like usually, when you're doing something and the fire department or the police department or whoever shows up to complete the task, then your good Samaritans usually go, okay, you're here, I'm going to step away. This did not happen in this case. He continued to help them however he could. And for that, he is definitely the Honor Thy Heroes recipient this week on the Joel Michalec Show, featuring the Lovely Sharen. And we are very thankful that he walked that fine line between doing what had to be done and taking excessive risks as a person who is otherwise maybe not properly trained. Not that always makes a difference, but it is that fine line. And so thank you very much for that. Your community, I'm sure, appreciates you even more so than us. Okay, so remember, you can send in your everyday heroes to Joel Michalec Radio at gmail.com. I can't even get the thing right. I think I need another sip of tea. It's magical tea. Okay, so one last thing, we do have time for it, and as you know, if you've been listening to this show, we do not address political issues on the show, but my one last thing has the backdrop of politics. As you are aware, I'm sure, from one news source or another, you probably heard that there was some airstrikes issued and a high-ranking general from Iran was killed, who was also responsible for the loss of a lot of American lives in attacks. So that's your backdrop, and that's where we end with that. However, it has been reported that we should expect sleeper cells or retaliation attacks. Now, so what I want to tell you is, if you don't know, if you're not aware, and a lot of people aren't, governments, including the U.S., governments invest a lot of money in cyber cyber warfare tactics. Okay, and And that is like when, if you think about it, if an agency or a group break in and take over. Well, I mean, data breaches, stealing information. I mean, that's an attack. But cyber warfare between governments is when they're going to try to infiltrate the government through cyber and cause attacks like that, or other major cyber areas of a nation. So my one last point that I want to make really just goes down to being personally watching what's going on with you in the cyber arena. I mentioned it before, so it's worth mentioning again. Making sure that websites and emails, especially emails that look fishy, these are some of the cyber tactics that, another country such as Iran could fuel in retaliation for what happened. Retaliation doesn't mean that they're going to necessarily order airstrikes on U.S. Areas or U.S. Collateral. They could, but retaliation could also mean cyber war. And make no mistake, your head is in the sand if you don't believe that governments have already been at cyber war with each other for many years. So that may bleed. What happened here in the political arena may bleed down to you and I in a sense of, our way of life being attacked from the cyber end of it. And I just want you to be aware of that. And it's really just being aware of things that we have said on the show time and time again that I usually put out on my regular Facebook, sharing some things that I get wind of from my regular job, which is in technology. And just being on full alert for yourself with stepping up your game on self-monitoring. Paying close attention to emails, because it's amazing to me. Maybe I wanted to talk about it. There's a good time to mention it. If you haven't, if you didn't hear, if you live in the Northeast region, Wawa, another breach, or another company facing a breach, announced it just before Christmas about a breach. Breach has been going on for like half a year. They just found it. That's after 4 major merchants that handle gas pumps and gas stations, reported malware. These malwares that have taken down their systems and stolen our data are caused by somebody opening up an email and reacting to an email that they thought was legitimate. So that's why I'm saying, I'm just asking you one last thing. Just be extra careful for yourself. And if you're in that capacity, you have work email, keep an extra eye out at work to help your company not succumb to this kind of stuff. This is how there's potential for this game to escalate into our lives. The future is technology, and technology can be attacked as well. So that's one last thing. I appreciate everybody listening to the show. Welcome back for the new year. Look for more big things happening on the show and around the show this year. We're hoping and planning on getting some things off the ground. Remember to visit us online, www.jmtalk.net. Also on Facebook at JM Talk, and Instagram and Twitter at JM Talk Radio. Until next time, folks, have yourself a great week. Be good to each other. And when you're out and about, open a door for somebody and say, how you doing? We'll see you next time.